Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. TJIF. This is Tony.
Happy Friday.
This is Tony, and this is Jennifer, and we are here to talk franchising. So, Jennifer, how are you today?
I am well. I'm well. I had a great week, and you're on the heels of returning back to Texas from visiting here in Atlanta and my first virtual event around the whole network aspect of what we do. And it was a wonderful, wonderful event. And I just enjoyed so much, Tony, you being here in Atlanta and supporting me through that. So it's been a great, great couple of weeks. And I'm so excited about TJIF. I know our audience, we've been promising you, that we will get to our rebrand, and here we are. How do you like it? TJIF, that's our new home. Tony and Jennifer introducing franchising.
Yay! I am super excited about it. Looks like my internet is tracking slow. So, you just keep going. Last week, if y'all were here, we actually crashed, internet crashed. So, that's
Yes.
why, and we're in separate places now. So, you just keep going without me. I'm excited about TJIF. Tony and Jennifer introduces franchising on Fridays. So if you've been following us for since the beginning of the year, we started on Saturdays, but we felt like since we're getting more corporate guests, we should do it on Friday and TJIF. Somebody said to me the other day, "Oh, I get it, TJIF, like TGIF."
That's
Exactly.
right. That's
So
right.
we are here and we're excited, and you're going to hear more from us. And we've got guests lined up through July. And if you're interested in being a guest, if you're a supplier, if you are a franchisee or franchisor, and you want to get your voice out there and you have something to share, we would love to talk to you about being our guest. But I also want to talk about an article that was sent our way this week.
Yes.
Someone that follows us sent us an article around um, franchising, Blacks in franchising from Black Enterprise. You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah. So we received an article where substantial data was performed on the top franchise brands that had the highest number or highest percentages of franchise ownership. This is amazing, amazing information. And we felt that it was apropos to bring it to our audience. So, with that being said, I'm going to pull it up right now and share. So, the brands that are listed, they range from cleaning brand across the spectrum. So, first we have 360 Clean. 360 Clean is the brand. This is a whopping 49% African American franchisee involvement in this brand. It has won in the top low cost franchise of 2022. Can you imagine that? Now, the top low cost franchise of 2022, now what does that look like? They have
Mhm.
a total investment of 20K to 30K for a 360 clean franchise brand. That is amazing. Amazing. And 49% African American owned.
Wow.
Yeah. The other brand, Office Pride Commercial Cleaning Services, a whopping 15% African American owned. Total investment 67K to 112K. And the services are full service commercial cleaning for franchises in the business service industry, full service commercial, 21% African American franchisee involvement. And then on the higher end of the cleaning spectrum that's noted in this article is Anago Cleaning Systems with 12% African American ownership. They provide B2B janitorial and cleaning services. Higher end, I say 219,000 to 339 for total investment. Some of the other notable mentions are Checkers and Rallies with 12% African American ownership, Oasis Senior Advisors with 10% African American, and Tropical Smoothie, one of my favorite, all-time favorite quick serve restaurants with 10% as well. Really, really good information on some brands that have some really strong African American presence, and we felt like that was something that we wanted to bring forward to our audience.
Yay. So we're doing our research in the industry. We are quickly becoming known for our message in the industry. And we're actually speaking at the Power Networking Conference in August in Houston, which is a predominantly Black audience around franchising. So we're super excited. Hey, we got our new site up too. If you want to download a document, 7 Steps to Franchise Ownership, go to tjifshow.com and get that document. It's a high level overview of what you need to be ready to own a franchise. So excellent.
Yes.
Well, we have our guests in the waiting room, and we're excited. We actually have 2 guests in the waiting room.
That's right.
Yay! And so they are repeat from last week, and we know this was the Friday before the holiday weekend, but they were gracious enough to give us a few minutes of their time. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Mrs. Rikki Amos, who is the executive director of the IFA Foundation, which we'll learn about shortly, and Mr. Spencer Brignac, who is the membership and retention director of IFA. Welcome, part 2.
Good
to be back.
Good to be back. Good to be back.
Fingers crossed, guys. Keep your fingers and toes crossed.
So, Spencer, welcome. In your own words, who are you and what do you do?
Yes. So the International Franchise Association, we are the oldest and largest association representing franchisors, primarily in the U.S., but we also have a lot of international members as well. And in short, we represent not only franchisors and franchisees, but also vendors to the industry. So really anyone involved in the franchise community can be part of IFA. And we do 3 things for our members. We enhance, protect, and promote. Enhance, that's all of our education. We have our IFA annual convention every February. Next year will be happening in Vegas. That's our largest event and really the largest event in franchising. We also have events throughout the year, both virtual and in person. We also have various networking and mentoring options as well. We also promote our members. So on our site, we have directories. We have different campaigns, and Rikki will get more into this, but OFO, Open for Opportunity, is one of our PR campaigns on behalf of the industry that we're doing now. And then finally, we protect the industry. So that's really the government relations that we do. Recently, we defeated a nominee for and I'm going to get this wrong, but the hourly and wage division of the Department of Labor. And we do a lot of, promoting franchise laws, but also opposing laws that we consider bad for the business model. So that's kind of our government relations effort. And, we do that for, really anyone and everyone, whether you're a small franchise, considering franchising, all the way up to franchises that have units internationally.
Wonderful. Great. Wonderful.
And Rikki, introduce yourself in your own words.
Sure thing. It's good to see everybody, and it's great to be back. Thank you for having us back, ladies, to talk on all things franchising. I like to say that I think I have one of the most fun jobs at the IFA. We get to be the good news story on behalf of franchising. So my job is to be the executive director of the IFA Foundation. We're the 501c3 nonprofit, and the way we lean in partnership with the IFA is to focus a lot on just raising awareness of franchising in general. So to opportunity seekers and people who want to be small business owners, particularly from the veterans community, from minorities and people of color, women. And we focus a lot on community engagement because so many of we know that, franchisors and franchisees are incredibly philanthropic because they are just embedded in their neighborhoods. And we talk a lot about workforce and that why, work in franchising is good for labor and it's good for career opportunities. It's good for ownership paths. So my job is to help connect with all those people who want to learn about franchising in those communities. And then also just make sure that the stories are going out there so that stakeholders on Capitol Hill and community leaders and everybody in franchising just knows, why franchising is open for opportunity and why it's a really good opportunity and support system for people seeking small business.
Great. And a lot of good work happening there. So perfect segue into, let's just dive right into Open for Opportunity, because I think the audience will really want to know, okay, what is this about and how can they support and get involved?
Oh, fantastic. I'm happy to talk about Open for Opportunity. In a lot of ways, it's framing so much of our work about what we're trying to do at the International Franchise Association and on behalf of franchising as a whole. I think one of the really important things that, that we talk a lot about the IFA is, again, it's the good news story, what people don't understand, how misunderstood franchising is. And if it's, bad for people of color, if it's bad for veterans, we're like, that is not the story at all. So where we focus on an Open for Opportunity is that storytelling campaign, is the stakeholder engagement and education. It is embedded in a lot of really great research that talks about how franchise systems within diverse communities in particular make more money than their independent counterparts, that wages are higher, benefits are better. Because we want to make sure that the stories that we're telling when we're putting really great franchisees online and talking to members of Congress, talking to local, community leaders, that we can also then, provide that data that demonstrates that, that franchising is good for their local communities. So the way we're putting that into action is, again, we focus on the 4 pillars: veterans, diversity, community, and workforce. We're on a barnstorming campaign across the country in at least 12 states, probably more over time. We've been to Atlanta, Miami, Philadelphia. We're going out to Vegas soon, Northern California, Texas. I mean, you name it. And while we're there, what we're really leaning into doing is bringing in local nonprofit leaders, local chambers, local diversity groups, those who are really supporting entrepreneurs in the local community, educating them about franchising, hearing about their challenges and, what are some of the unique challenges, let's say, in the Atlanta market or down in the Houston market in particular that is impacting, what does access to capital look like in those communities? How can we work together? And then through that, we share our data and information and then provide educational resources. That's a big part of it. People just aren't aware of franchising as a model, what differentiates it, et cetera. So we're working with a lot of these partners, provide this educational content to connect with opportunity seekers and get the word out about franchising, and then making sure that policymakers and decision makers are more aware of that too, while hearing these amazing stories, like truly inspirational stories from people who have just found amazing success through franchising by being franchise owners, and just shining a light on their story, because we have the megaphone that can help do that. So, that's a big part of, as Spencer was talking about, it was because of a lot of that work that, when the GR team on the IFA side was able to go up to Capitol Hill and, talk to people who were maybe on the fence about the David Weil nomination on behalf of, the Department of Labor, and just saying, look, here's what this is our perspective on franchising. And this is why we think the narrative that is being discussed isn't as effective. And, because of that, there was a really successful campaign at the IFA on support of that. But we're going to keep going at the work. We want to keep working with, everybody else and raising awareness, and more to be done.
Yeah, that is amazing. And I have to tell you that when Open for Opportunity came here to Atlanta, we just simply had a great time in support of that event. So when you think about, that first event that happened here in Atlanta, now, is this a one and done? How does it look as you move forward through this work?
This is such an important question. Thank you for teeing that up, Jennifer. When we went into this at the beginning, we absolutely said this campaign doesn't work if what we do is drop into a community, wave signs about how franchising is great, and then leave and don't follow up. So the work that we're leaning into now, because this is very much an evolving campaign, we go in listening and hearing what communities need, and then how can we work together. So one of the big pieces that we're working on right now is building up some educational content and series, because that's what we kept hearing. We kept hearing local nonprofit partners saying, I'm excited. I want to help our constituents learn more about franchising. What can you do to help us with that? So we're going to build out some educational series. We're going to be coming back and talking with those nonprofit partners and offering it up if it's something that they would like to promote and get people to be involved in with us. But then we want to see it grow from there, right? So in 2023 or whenever, what does the next event in Atlanta look like? Maybe doing this content in person, bringing more local Atlanta leaders who can talk about their experiences and explain it directly out to the opportunity seekers. So, we're going to keep coming in with pieces of the puzzle to layer into it. A big part of the conversation we had in Atlanta was about the access to capital, right? It's just a monumental barrier for a lot of people in getting in. So, one of the things we're focusing on in this educational outreach programming is making sure that there is awareness of the different kind of sources of capital, both on the, making sure franchisors know that their franchisees can lean on these types of perhaps alternative paths, looking at CDFIs and the like in terms of funding opportunities, but then making sure that conversation is going out to opportunity seekers as well, and all of us working together. So we're going to be leaning into a lot of follow-up education. You'll be hearing more from us soon about what that dates and content and the like.
Yeah. So you just use the acronym I'm not familiar with. CBFI, what is that?
Sure. Yeah, sometimes we're in DC, so we always just rely a little too much on acronyms all the time. So Community Development Financial Institutions. So CDFIs, they're for a lot of people who might not necessarily be have ease of access at like the mega banks, right? Or like the really large financial institutions. CDFIs are a network of, banks across the country that are have the specific vision and mission of getting financial support into communities of color. They're aligned with the Community Reinvestment Act. They do a lot of like hands-on support and mentoring for first-time business owners from diverse communities and background, and trying to make sure that they're successful. So they are an amazing resource in a lot of cities across the country that everybody just doesn't know about as being an alternative path to perhaps funding your franchise and your small business.
Okay, very good. So let's talk to Spencer. Spencer and I became buds because I'm so relationship driven. That's why buying a networking franchise was perfect for me. Before I joined IFA, I wanted to get to know who the leader of the membership was. And so I went to LinkedIn, I found this character, messaged him, and he was lickety split right on it. And we had a Zoom call, and I felt a connection. Did you feel a connection, Spencer?
Absolutely, yes. And I should point out, I do have a supervisor, Paul Rocchio. He's in charge of membership, so I don't want to take any thunder away from him. Paul,
okay, very good. Paul I met as well and had a one-to-one with him. You guys are so relationship driven.
That's right.
Yeah.
Even though you're a big organization, IFA in themselves, you're really relationship driven, and I appreciate that. So why should a franchisor or franchisee consider becoming a member of IFA, Spencer?
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say, franchisors out there, if you join, your franchisee becomes a member for free. So that's another benefit that you can give them. So that's really the route that I think most franchisors and franchisees go down. For franchisors, we're offering kind of a full suite of education. You know, a lot of our events, whether it's the Franchise Leadership and Development Conference that we're partnering with Franchise Update Media on, or our Emerging Franchisor Conference. You know, I like to think of it as we have 8 different education tracks at our annual convention every year. And these education tracks, we have an event for each one of those throughout the year. They're smaller events, you know, it's hundreds rather than thousands is what I like to say. But as with any trade association, the ultimate value you're going to get out of it is from the other members and the networking. You know, you don't have to recreate the wheel. You can get mentors. And what's been so amazing about IFA, even more so than other trade associations I've worked with, is the amount of networking and the amount of just willingness to share information that other franchisors and franchisees have. And I think that that's always going to be the biggest value that you can get out of IFA. It's the connections. And these are people that are going to help you every step of the way. If you're looking for a vendor, they're going to be like, okay, these are the people that I've used. If, you know, you have a question on, you know, starting your operations manual, they're at least going to be able to push you in the right direction. And the willingness to mentor and network, and for longer term members to really volunteer their time, their very limited time to IFA, has just been super amazing. Other thing I would say is that, you know, franchisees and franchisors, we have an upcoming conference in September, our Franchise Action Network meeting. Great opportunity for you to meet in person, you know, potentially your congressman, whether that's, we don't know quite how open the Capitol will be then, but it's a really great conference to get involved and understand kind of the legal framework that you're working with whenever you decide to franchise your business or whenever you buy into a franchise. So there are a ton of different opportunities, but ultimately I think that the biggest benefits are going to be the education and networking, and really understanding and getting to communicate the value of the franchise business model to people that can really change how that works, whether that's on Capitol Hill or in your state legislator.
One of the things I was pleasantly surprised to learn was their local chapters, if you will, the Franchise Business Network. Can you talk about those? Because even you don't have to wait a whole year or come, you don't have to fly. There may be a local group in your area.
Yeah. So even if you aren't a member yet, we'd love to have you at a Franchise Business Network. We have 33 across the country. Shout out to our task force leader, Stacy Waller with Althans Insurance. Her and I kind of head up that. And it's really a great opportunity to meet people locally. If you don't have time or the bandwidth to travel, you know, you can meet people in your local community. And it's, you know, it's suppliers, it's vendors, franchisees and franchisors are all welcome to those. So, and we have a lot of really active ones. We've also started doing virtual meetups. So the next virtual meetup is going to be July 13th. We'll have a Zoom meeting. And yeah, those have been really successful as well. Just for people that maybe it's not local enough, this is kind of your opportunity to participate in an FBN. We do breakout rooms, all of that stuff. And we do those workshops with other committees as well.
Yay. I'm excited. I just wrote that down. And I'll stay tuned. Make sure I get a personal message, Spencer.
Absolutely. LinkedIn right after this.
Wonderful.
Go ahead, Tony. So when you talked about the many events that happen leading up to the big yearly event, I know that, so the legal symposium just happened. Am I correct there? And then the customer, is that the consumer experience in Atlanta? That's
yes. The Franchise Customer Experience Conference, or FCXC, as we're kind of naming it. That's another event that's in partnership with our Franchise Update Media. It's kind of taking the place of our marketing and operations conferences. So everyone knows that there are a ton of conferences in the industry, and we partnered with Franchise Update Media, and we're so excited about it. that we're going to get to partner with them and put on that conference. The date, I think it's June 21st through 23rd. It'll be in Atlanta. And FLDC, Franchise Leadership and Development, which is for C-suite level folks, as well as franchise development folks, is also going to be in Atlanta. And that will be in September, I believe.
Okay.
Yep.
And so when you think about membership within IFA, I know you have franchisor, franchisee, vendor, suppliers in support of the franchise industry. Is there a place within IFA for those that are interested in franchise business ownership, education-wise?
Yeah, absolutely. So, at the annual convention, once again, I go back to that because there's every single track. So that's really where we have a specific franchisee track that they can take advantage of. And we also have over 250 different webinars we've created since the beginning of COVID in our online library. So if you're interested in, kind of looking into owning your own business, I would definitely recommend listening to some of those. And we also partner with MFV. MFV hosts expos throughout the year. Their next one's going to be in New York, the International Franchise Expo, June 2nd through the 4th. And that's a really great opportunity. There are going to be over 200 exhibitors there. And they're going to be franchisors that are looking to sell units and sell franchises. And you can get to meet people in person, which I think is really awesome, that you're going to get to one-on-one talk to these franchise development people and really get to hear their pitch on the business. And you may even discover walking around those shows that you want kind of something different than what you were originally planning on. So there are tons of different options there.
Yeah, so if you're looking for franchise business ownership, IFA is a tremendous resource there. So Spencer, talk to us about what does it look like for membership within IFA, cost-wise?
Yes, so it really depends on how large you are. So for franchisors, it's going to start at $1,675, $1,675. Our membership, for the most part, if you have a certain number of units, that's the price it's going to start at. It's on an anniversary basis. So if you join now, you would renew next May. If you join in June, renew next June. It's a year-long commitment. And like I said, franchisees, most of them are free underneath their franchisor. I know that Tony, your franchisor, joined afterward. So that's an option as well. If you have if you only have a couple of units, it goes up to like $550 for franchise owners. So it's really inexpensive for franchisees. And I'd highly recommend, if you're interested in doing that, please feel free to, reach out to me on LinkedIn, send me an email, membership@franchise.org. We'd be excited to kind of talk you through what specifically within IFA could benefit your company.
Okay. So we're bringing a whole gang of franchisees next year. In fact, our franchisor, because our annual conference is normally around that time, so he said, we're just going to piggyback on the IFA so we can get as many people there as possible. And we're super excited about that. So stay tuned. We will be there with our blue coats on, showing up. So
That's right.
We are really grateful that you all rescheduled your time and that we had the open slot. So thank you for that. I would like to ask for the opportunity to share my story on Open for Opportunity. Right. And so I think I have a compelling story how I entered franchise ownership. And now I'm quickly becoming into franchises. So would love to share my story on Open for Opportunity.
Tony, we would love that. And in fact, actually, when I was thinking about the what haven't I said yet, the piece was about how the Open for Opportunity campaign and how we look specifically for stories and how we want to amplify them and tie them into our work at Diversity Institute, our Black Franchise Leadership Council, which we haven't even really touched on here today, being a networking group and an amplification group to help elevate these stories and educate opportunity seekers. So I would love to connect with you one-on-one. Make sure we're capturing your story as part of this campaign. And if there are listeners and followers out here too that are interested in making sure we know about their story and getting them plugged in, I certainly hope that they will reach out to us directly and we can, or reach out to you all and you can get them connected into us as well. We want those stories very much. So Tony, you will be getting the personal message from me too, so that we can do that.
Well, what I've learned in life and business is you have not because you ask not. So I've learned to be drastic and just ask.
Yeah,
so
that's right. That's right. And I would like to ask, how can we support, Rikki, the work that you're doing with Open for Opportunity, knowing that Tony and I have this platform now? You know, is there anything that we can do in support of Open for Opportunity or any of the work that's happening at the IFA?
That's a great question, and thank you for it. You know, what I was making note of is then, you know, on my follow-up list with Jennifer, because you were asking about educational work and the follow-up in specific communities. So what I'd love to do is once we finalize this educational plan, I want to make sure I share that with you. We would love it if you could help us, you know, promote it and get out in front of people that we're going to be doing this educational content. And it's really focused on opportunity seekers, because we want to make sure that those doors are open to educate people and get them connected into IFA. We'd love to, you know, if there's an opportunity to talk about that in particular, how we support folks, and get as many people involved in some of that programming as possible. And as we have more roadshow stops, I'm always happy to come back and maybe we can chat about those more too. So we'd love that.
Amazing. Definitely. We're there. We're supporters of IFA. Definitely.
We appreciate it.
So for more information, go to franchise.org or just go to LinkedIn and look up Rikki, Amos, and Spencer Brignac. And we are so grateful for your time. We're not going to hold you any longer. Thank you, Rikki. And we will be in touch. I'll look for that message in my
inbox. You'll get it. Thank you both so much for having us today. And I look forward to talking more soon.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
So that was awesome. Rikki and Spencer are awesome. We just keep getting all these awesome guests.
Such valuable information. And, you know, that's, you know, when we talked about doing this show, Tony, that's exactly what we talked about doing. And we're stepping right into that. So for those of you, again, franchisors, franchisees that are looking to get your story out, and those that are in support of the franchise industry, we would love to have you on the show just to bring forward your brand and bring that element and all those educational components to our audience.
And so one last time, if you'd like to get our free gift, download the 7 Steps to Franchise Ownership at tjifshow.com. And if you want to connect with us, our information is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Give us a holler. We would love to hear from you. And again, if you are a brand, franchisee, and you want to showcase your expertise, contact us. Jennifer, I'm excited. We're doing big things, and I'm just happy that you and I came together through networking.
That's right. And we first met at the IFA convention.
You're in person? Yeah.
In person. That's right.
Yeah. So IFA changes lives. Show up, be up, follow up, and you will blow up. This is Tony Harris Taylor.
And this is Jennifer Callender
saying TJIF, introducing franchising for today, tomorrow,
and forever.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.